I had never heard that about you, but this is only our 4th week, folks. I'm learning about Ronnie. We've never met. I just knew that he had the same profession I did, driving across. Well, I was an over-the-road truck driver, but, we wouldn't have anything to do coast to coast. And so a lot of them always talked about Art Bell and Coast to Coast, and we were driving coast to coast, so they'd say, are you going to listen at midnight? I never did listen to one of those shows as a truck driver, but I'd hear people talking about the stories, Ronnie, but it seemed like at midnight I was always asleep because I had to pull early or get back on the road. But I pretty much I like to pull daylight hours. I mean, some of the time I had to pull because all night on my teams. Later on, for 5 years, I wasn't married to my husband, but we worked as a team so we could keep that truck rolling 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays,
right.
they monitor. My husband got in trouble keeping 2 sets. Now, do you have?
Oh, it's like you fell out. Yeah, I understand. I listened to Art Bell there for a while.
You did?
Back in the day. Yeah, back in the day, because that was the only thing they would listen to late at night. It was Art Bell, and some of the stories were great, and some of the stories were just boring. And Art Bell actually called me one time, and I recognize that voice. He said, "This is Art Bell." And I'm going, he goes, "I love your story." He said, "We got to get you on the air." And I'm going, "Yeah, Art, I'd be happy to do your show." And I said, "You just tell me when." Say, just give me a time and I'll be there, And he goes, "We're gonna get back with you." He goes, "We'll get you on." He goes, "It's an awesome story. It'd be great for the show," and they never called me back. And then one time George Norrie called me and he goes, "Well, I talked to Art and he said that I should contact you about doing a show." And I'm saying, "Yeah, I talked to Art and he's looking forward to the show." And then he said, "Well, let me get it set up," and I said, "Just give me a call back when you want to do it, and we'll do it." And he never called back.
Wow. But you know what? They had him down here in Florida as a speaker once, and the girl that she's a friend of mine, Marsha Booser-Haney, and she helped organize, the psychic stuff, and there was a UFO group already established, but a lot of the people in the psychic world didn't want to fool with UFOs. But here in Gulf Breeze, we're considered a mecca, one of the homes from '92, and this is sort of where Dr. Stephen Greer got started, and the guy that started my alien contact organization with me, Dr. Bruce Maccabee, out of Ohio now, but he was doing Washington, D.C., and he used to do investigations like I did, on the record. He is very famous. He even went and taught at the CIA. So, there was Don Berliner and quite a few other people back then. Jan Aldrich was young, up and coming. So we got Jan Aldrich's. But I just want you to know this is a good group you're with, Ronnie. I'm built on the shoulders of great, powerful men here with the UFO Association. So we've been invisible guys, and I was Men in Black, and I had Men in Black come to me in '67, asked me if I want to work for them. Now, I don't know if I worked with the ones off planet, but I'm pretty sure I did because of the kind of jobs I had. But they also had the intelligence community on the planet. And, my husband and I didn't have any way to say it except they were the intelligence community, but we called them planet, because they knew history and they observed, and they would show up out of thin air. It was like something off of Dick. What was Dick's name? He wrote books. Tessa Dick came on my show. She's a friend of mine, but she was married to him. I can't remember Dick's first name, but you saw. Did you see? The one about Mars. Why am I mentally? I think this George Floyd stuff has got my brain all messed up. Anyway, there's great stories and movies out there. Not close. Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't think of it. I love that movie. Yeah, that was awesome.
Well,
I can't think of the name of it.
It wrote the books. Can you think of Philip K. Dick? All of a sudden it came to me. They're called dickheads, and that's real. They're called dickheads and like tinfoil hat people, but it's called dickheads. And I listen to
the good stories and K, and man, they're there's so many Mars stories out there right now. So many people saying that they went to Mars and then they came back in time, and they're all the stories are very similar too. So it's like, man, is this really happening or not?
Well, he was a contactee, but see, from what I can understand, when I was growing up, and I had to go to White Sands and get on one of those ships. But my uncle worked there at Los Alamos, Ronnie, and I was only in the second grade. So when I went, I wasn't willing to come out, but it was like I was compelled to do that stuff. So in 2016, after my husband died, he told me I had to wait till he died public, and meaning like he knew we were doing radio, and he came on here. I wish you'd go listen to some of Thomas Morris's stories. We got a few of them here on this. Ronnie, you come to TJ Morris ET Radio and go into the archives. But look for my husband that worked, with these CIA people off planet. And then they approached me. But, see, I didn't know that they were guiding us. So they guide you. They wake you up, and they guide you to help steer this whole human race. Like, I guess the people that believe on the spiritual side, like Jesus, and then the gods, and then back in the old times, they wrote about this stuff. People kept it. Most people couldn't write, so they had scribes. But those Dead Sea Scrolls, all the things that look at it's like the Bible. The people that win the wars are the kings. They get this stuff written down their way, including the King James volume, the one we use. So all the way back before Constantine. So there's a history of these people coming and going. It just depends on whether you want to know about it. But they kept it where you almost think it's religious. And so now there's the TV show. There's a group called Gaia, G-A-I-A, and I haven't done an investigation on them. But right before I came on here, I was trying to watch what's going on in the world on the news. And I go on the internet and I go to YouTube, that's owned by Google, and saw all these different people still gathering as protesters of, I guess, for peace and justice. But, all this stuff, these extraterrestrials are observing this. Now, there's some...
I think we lost you.
Sorry. Like you and me are supposed to wake up.
Yeah, it's like you're cutting out.
I'm sorry. I'm cutting out.
It must be the weather you're having over there.
Yeah, Dad, or my phone. Well, I just believe, Ronnie, that we're supposed to be doing what we're doing. So you call it whatever. I've got today called You Ain't Gonna Believe This, Ace Folklife, okay? And so we're telling stories here, folks, but it's based on our truth. But how are we going to be armchair philosophers while we grow through this awakening? They're calling it the awakening. Can you hear me, Ronnie?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it back over to you, but I want you to get that level of, I didn't know that you went through so many hardships. So I'm glad you're educating people, because if it has to do with the word alien or UFO, we're supposed to be waking up to that. My mama's passed, but her group, she was born in 1932, and they were told not to believe in it. And then I worked, J. Allen Hynek rode on a plane with me when I was trained, left Hawaii and went to Fort Hood to take on this UFO community at a deeper level. I went to Lowry Air Force Base to be trained to look at what's in the sky, silhouettes, how to know the difference between planes and UFOs and all that. There's actually people trained to know the difference. Did you know that?
Right. I suspected. I did suspect that. It's like,
yeah, all that stuff with J. Allen Hynek. That's true. But, all right, well, I'm going to turn it back over to you. But I had to say something because I didn't know you went through so much prejudice. There's all kinds of prejudice, folks, not just about the color of our skin or believing in aliens. There's all kind of prejudice. But we have to wake up and realize we don't know it all. And a lot of it's perception. Now we're really getting into precogs, which I am, and empathy, and raising our intelligence. We may not sound intelligent, but what you know on the inside, just don't judge a book by its cover, Ronnie. I mean, tell people, there's a lot going on. Just because they don't know it doesn't mean it don't exist.
Right.
Supernatural. But I'm going to turn it back over to you to tell people, because I know we're sooner or later, we're going to be in the second hour, and we haven't even told your story yet. So I hope the first hour you got people, invite them over and get them to open up their minds and just be a part. Tell them, look, just be part of my Ace Folklife show. We're going to just call it You Ain't Gonna Believe This, but if something happened to you, there's got to be a reason we're waking up. We're waking up with higher levels of emotional intelligence so we can be leaders and help. We're all students and teachers, Ronnie, so you're becoming a co-host in radio to help get the word out that there's more to life. And I'm sorry you were mistreated on the planet. That's sad. It's really sad. And I have been too, just because I've, in the kind of container I'm in as a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and I'm a woman. But I've got a lot of past lives in other bodies and memories. Now, I don't know, do you have any out-of-body near-death experiences, Ronnie?
Not because of accidents and stuff like that. No, nothing like that, So.
But them taking you and training you are showing you another reality. We do that with the Alien Contact Org, but we have a support group.
Yeah. Well, yeah, basically,
right.
They just made a clone of my body, and they put me in it from time to time in a different galaxy. So I get to roll around in this. I get to drive this clone body, which seems to be better physically fit than this.
We're on the air right now. You can get on TJ Morris ET Radio. TJ Morris ET Radio.
All right.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
I had to tell somebody that we were on the radio right now. Ronnie, people are calling me. John Tenayuka of California is one of our associates, folks. He helps us promote our ACO club. And then Tommy Hawksblood called me from Hawaii, and he must not be able to be here because they knew you may run out of material, but I think we're doing okay on the first hour. I'm glad you brought that friend of yours. Since he lives close to you, maybe he can help us find some more stories or people that want to come and record it with our club, Ronnie. So you think about it. When you don't have enough material, you can ask other people because we're recording it here weekly.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. Yeah,
all right.
I don't really like doing radio. It's like I have a terrible radio voice. I'm not that intelligent, and
I like your voice. And people, I've gotten more and more country the older I get because I guess it's lazy talk. But at one time I didn't have an accent when I traveled the world, and I had to speak fluent. And yes, when you do radio seriously, we're supposed to have a radio voice. But you know what? What's good about the weekly show that we do, you ain't going to believe this, and we say we're truck drivers, but I was born in Louisiana, raised in Texas. You were born in Texas, right?
Yes, born in Texas, and lived here most of my life, and then I moved to Wyoming, and I lived in Kansas for about 9 years, and
well, we
then
talk the way we talk, right? I mean, it's colloquialisms, and it's
we'll change. When I lived in Wyoming for a while, I noticed I quit talking Texan for some reason, and then when I come back to people were going, "Why are you talking like that?"
Yeah, I understand what you're saying because I went to, and Alabama has a distinction, and my children talk smarter than I do, but they were raised, they were born in Houston, but because of my husband left NASA and went to work for Rust Engineering, his father worked for Grumman and got him a job at the power company first. They were working for the power company. So they were working, and I worked next door at Southern Living Magazine and did what was it called? I forgot one of the other but I worked in the in Treasury Department, in the vice president of the whole Southern Living Decorating Craft Ideas. That was it, DCI, Decorating Craft Ideas. And go ahead.
I want to ask you a question before you leave. Have you ever heard, how far is Fort George Island, Florida from you?